At the national level, why a third party? We've touched on it a little bit so
Okay,
far.
let's look at the reality of what's going on right now. We just came through a presidential election. I think it's fair to say, even if people don't hold my own political perspective, that most people were, to say the least, disenchanted with the election. You have a situation where half of the American people didn't bother voting. Okay, we have in the United States today the lowest turnout of any industrialized nation in the entire world. By and large, poor people in the United States no longer vote. You know, we all sit and say, isn't it terrible that in South Africa blacks can't vote? Let's face reality that in the United States, the vast majority of poor people don't vote. Why do half the people not vote for president? And in off-presidential years, even fewer people vote. State elections, local elections, very few people vote. And I think the reason is that people perceive that government does not represent their interests. What difference does it really make? Michael Dukakis says, my campaign is about competence, not ideology. What he's really saying is, folks, there's not a whole lot of difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. You have a situation in the country today where 1% of the population owns over half of the wealth in this country. The richest 10% own over 83% of the wealth. In the last several years, we had a doubling of billionaires in this country at the same time as you have 3 million people sleeping out in the street. Last year, the chief executive officers of the largest corporations received a 48% increase in their take-home pay. The average American worker receives a 3 or 4%. Okay, 15% of our people have no health insurance. Who is addressing the issues that face the vast majority of our people? I think Congress, in a sense, no longer represents the ordinary people, and Congress is made up of the Democrats and Republicans. You know, people very often were yelling at the Republicans and Reagan, look at the horrible priorities he established, and all the terrible things that he did to the poor people. But they forgot that both houses of the Congress for 4 out of Reagan's 8 years were controlled by the Democrats. So I think you have bipartisan policy which essentially favors the rich at the expense of working people and the poor people. I think we need to go the direction of Canada, which has a third party, Democratic Socialist Party. We may not win right away, but our job is to bring together workers and poor people, minorities, environmental groups, environmentalists. Let's come together, articulate the issues, and I think we're going to make some real progress.